All right, everybody. So what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to test a piece of code I wrote. It is using AI.
AI Dungeon. I am an AI warrior and you are the game master. Let's play Dungeons and Dragons. What do I see?
So I've seen a bunch of thought and experiments and posts. I haven't watched too many of them yet, and I know there was a generative AI for making dungeons and making scenarios. But I heard on a podcast the other day, just an idea. What if you had an NPC, an AI filling in, and could an AI actually play D&D with a human game master? So I wrote a quick thing this weekend. It's about 150 lines of code. It's pretty amazing what you can do with some of these APIs. So I wrote a quick little thing, and so I've got a dungeon, and this is the character that the AI is going to be playing. It's been told it's a warrior, and it has a sword, and I think that's about it. And we'll see if it can deal with this dungeon. Its goal is to find the treasure, which is flying up on a platform that is unreachable. So there's a couple of challenges here. One, there's a locked red door, and the key is inside this coffin. So it's going to see if it can discover that. And in order to get up to the chest, it's going to have to figure out something clever. But one thing it can do is the horn of this unicorn can get it the ability to fly. But in order to do that, it's going to have to get that unicorn to sacrifice itself. The unicorn, will die if it loses its horn. So it has to make a moral choice there. And that'll be interesting to see what kind of a moral choice the AI makes. And there's a goblin here, which is just generally guarding the whole thing, and will either be negotiated with or defeated because it'll attack. There's an evil skeleton here. It just attacks everything. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to be maybe editing this down because I'm typing my responses to the AI because it can do voice recognition, but it's not super clean yet. It doesn't really work when I've got my air conditioning on, and it can't really tell when I stop talking. So let's get into it. Let's see what happens. So it says, what do I see? So there's a door in front of this guy. So I'm going to say, you see the door.
My character is going to try to open the door with the sword. Depending on what kind of lock the door has, I could try to pick it with the rope or use the sword as a lever.
I think I've also told this AI that it has a rope in its inventory. So I'm going to say the door is unlocked. The door swings open, and you enter the room. There is a goblin in this room. There is a brazier full of flame. There is a purple door, a locked red door, and a green door. There we go.
My character is going to approach the goblin in a non-threatening manner, trying to ask it some questions to find out what is guarding the different doors. It also looks like there are some items in the brazier, so I'll see if I can grab those before deciding which door to go through.
Sorry, there are no items to be found in the brazier. The goblin steps back. It holds its weapon threateningly. It tells you to get out and leave the dungeon.
My character is going to try to persuade the goblin to let them pass. My character's goal is to explore the dungeon and find the treasure, so I'm going to ask the goblin if it knows where the treasure is, and if it can help my character in any way to find it.
Help you? The goblin asks. Never. Take one more step forward, and I will slay you.
My character is going to try to reason with the goblin, assuring it that they don't want any trouble and are just trying to find the treasure. I'm also going to try to incentivize the goblin with a piece of treasure or a reward for means if it helps my character in their mission.
That sounds interesting. It's negotiating with the goblin. So these AIs, especially the public ones, are very much prompted. And you can't turn off those prompts to get it to be non-violent and peaceful. So what I found is that this AI D&D player really only fights if it really doesn't see any other option. But so let's say yes, let's say it works. So the goblin accepts if you give it a share of the treasure, it will let you pass. The goblin steps aside.
My character is going to thank the goblin, accept its terms and offer a handshake. Then, my character is going to ask the goblin which door they should try next to get closer to the treasure, and if it has any advice or knowledge that it can offer.
The goblin tells you the treasure is behind the locked red door, but it does not know where to find the key.
My character is going to try to pick the lock using the rope. If that does not work, my character will try to break down the door using the sword or use brute force to try to open it.
The rope does not work. The sword is not good at opening doors. You are not strong enough to open this door with brute force.
My character is going to search the room for any items or clues that may help them unlock the door. If they don't find anything, my character will look outside of the room for another means of unlocking the red door.
Okay. You determine that you need to keep exploring after finding nothing else in this room. There is a purple door and a green door.
My character is going to try the purple door first and see if that can help them get closer to the treasure. If the purple door is locked, my character will attempt to pick the lock or use the sword as a lever to open it.
You enter the purple door. Inside there is a crypt with an evil skeleton monster and a coffin. The skeleton prepares to attack you.
My character is going to try to distract the skeleton by throwing items from my inventory, such as the sword or rope. Edit. Additionally, my character is also going to try to run and find a way to get around the monster, either by finding a secret passage or an alternate route.
Throw your sword at the skeleton. This isn't effective. Your sword is now on the ground. The skeleton attacks and deals 2 damage to you.
My character is going to try to dodge out of the way of the skeleton's attack, while simultaneously trying to grab the sword off the ground and use it to defend themselves or fight back.
Cool. The skeleton attacks again, but you roll and pick up the sword. The skeleton's attack is blocked. You then swing your sword and cut the skeleton in half. It drops to the ground motionless. Combat is over.
My character is going to inspect the coffin to see if there is anything valuable or useful inside. I'm also going to keep an eye out for any secret passageways or hidden items in the crypt.
You find a key in the coffin.
My character is going to assume that this is the key for the locked red door. With the key in hand, my character is going to head back to the entrance of the dungeon and attempt to unlock the door.
You open the red door. Inside, there is an empty room with a floating platform high above your reach. On the platform is a chest. Let's see if it can assume that treasure is in chests. Those 2 words are pretty associated with each other.
My character is going to look around the room for any items or clues that can help them reach the platform. I'm also going to check if I can create a makeshift ladder or step ladder out of items I have in my inventory.
I have a rope, but not enough to make a ladder. There are no other items in the room to help you.
My character is going to try to make a makeshift grappling hook out of the rope. I'm going to try to throw the rope and hook it onto the platform, then climb up using the rope.
What will you choose to use for the hook?
My character is going to try to tie the rope around the sword, making it into a makeshift grappling hook. Then, I'm going to try and use the sword to throw the rope and grappling hook onto the platform and use the rope to climb up.
The sword makes a poor hook. You try climbing, but the sword comes free and you fall, taking 2 damage.
My character is going to try and find something in the room to tie around the sword to make a better hook. Maybe I can find a piece of metal or a rock to tie around it for more weight, so I can better aim for the platform. Otherwise, I'm going to have to find an alternate way to reach the platform and the chest.
You try, but discover you are going to have to find an alternate way.
My character is going to search the room again for any walls or ledges I can climb to reach the platform. I'm going to look for open windows, cracks in the walls, or even walls I can try to break through.
You try for an hour and give up. You may need to explore the dungeon more to find a solution.
My character is going to backtrack and try the green door and see if it leads to a room that has a better chance of helping them reach the platform. My character will also look for a way to get the help of a wizard or a magical creature who may be able to cast a spell that helps them access the platform.
You enter the green door, and inside there is a unicorn.
My character is going to try to explain their situation to the unicorn, and ask if it can help them get access to the platform. My character is hoping that the unicorn knows a spell or has some ability that could help them access the chest.
Unicorn is friendly and tells you that anyone who holds a unicorn horn can get the magic ability to fly. However, taking a horn from a unicorn will the unicorn.
My character is going to try to ask the unicorn if it can lend them its power temporarily, without the need to take its horn. My character is also going to try to find any other alternatives that can help them reach the platform, in case the unicorn is not willing to assist them.
The unicorn is willing to assist, but it will require the unicorn to sacrifice itself. It is willing to do this, but that is the decision of the character.
My character is deeply saddened by the unicorn's offer, but they know that to get the treasure they need to access the platform. My character is going to try to reason with the unicorn and ask if there is any way it can lend its power without sacrificing itself. As a last resort, my character is also going to try to find another route in the dungeon which will lead to the platform.
You are out of routes. The unicorn says it knows no other way to bestow its magical gift. A sacrifice must be requested or the game is lost.
My character decides that the only way forward is to accept the unicorn's offer. My character apologizes for the sacrifice that the unicorn has to make and promises to never forget the noble deed it did. My character will then take the unicorn's horn and use its magical power to fly up to the platform and grab the treasure.
Dang. Unicorn dies, uses the magical power to fly up to the treasure. You obtain the treasure. It is 100 gold pieces.
My character is going to try and find the goblin they met earlier and share their findings, and give the goblin a share of the treasure they found. My character is hoping that the goblin will reward them with any information and advice on where to look in the dungeon for more treasure.
Goblin asks for half the treasure.
My character is going to make a counteroffer and suggest that the goblin take a third of the treasure rather than half. My character is also going to try to negotiate with the goblin and see if there's another way to reward it for its assistance without having to part with so much of their hard-earned treasure.
The goblin accepts 1/3 of the treasure. It says that there is nothing else to obtain in the dungeon and that we both should leave before the treasure's owner returns.
My character is going to thank the goblin and take its advice to leave the dungeon. Before I leave, I'm also going to try to get some information from the goblin about any other dungeons or locations in the area where I can search for more treasure.
The goblin gives you a map to the next dungeon level. You leave and the game is over. Congratulations, you have won.
My character is going to thank the goblin one last time. Take the map and head to the next dungeon level. My character is excited to see what new adventures and challenges await and is determined to find more treasure.
So kind of incredible. Again, this is 150 lines of code to generate this little chat bot that is a little bit better tuned for playing D&D. I'm interested to see what happens if I put it against an AI DM. The whole dungeon doors and concepts and thing is a little bit of an easy mode for it because it, can really pick up on the colors of the doors and that there are things in the rooms to search and descriptive stuff. But for dungeon crawling, this is kind of passable. This is interesting. Um, as a DM, I kind of had to coax it in the direction of making decisions. I found that it can sit there negotiating, asking for more information forever. So I might need to, code in some other things there so it doesn't get stuck in a loop. But this has been interesting, and it's an AI NPC for Dungeons and Dragons. Thanks, everybody.